Hey, Will. It's been mentioned, your name is pretty high up there in the Heisman conversation, and Mike Leach also agrees. He thinks you're a good contender for that. What's it like to have that, kind of confidence from your coach, knowing that, he believes that you deserve that kind of award, and how does that affect your play and your mindset?
I mean, it's cool. It's cool, I guess, to be as, talked about maybe one of the best players in the country, but, I don't think about it a lot. I think with team success, individual success will come, so I'm just trying to win every week. I really don't care about the Heisman.
2 straight weeks you've had the back of your jersey clean thanks to your offensive line. What would you talk about their performance today, especially against a great pass rush?
Awesome. I think somebody said it, that team led sacks in the SEC coming in. I think they did a really good job of, they have some big, long guys that are really, really mobile in the pass rush and can really get after the quarterback. Kind of the same thing like you said last week, just straight 3 down the whole time. 3 down, 2 in the box, six defensive backs. So I thought our 5 did better than their 3, and then plus the 2 linebackers in the box. So the way we were able to run the ball, the way they were able to pass block and things like that, it was a great job by the offensive line and the whole offensive staff, especially Coach Miller and Coach Kramer.
Kind of expand on that a little bit. You think back to that game against Arkansas 2 years ago when they unleashed that drop 8, and today you rushed for 170 plus yards or whatever it was offensively. Just how much have you seen this offense evolve from that game to this point?
Yeah, I think the more that we can run the ball and the more we can really, get extra guys in the box, the more it's going to open up a pass lane or something like that. That's obvious, and I think the more that we can take off with those offensive linemen, it's not fair for a defensive end to get in a track stance and be able to, pass rush. So the more that we can show that we can run the ball and, be able to throw the ball like we do, I think that helps us be on pace.
Well, the last 3 weeks you guys have played pretty complete football in all phases, and it's been 3 really good weeks for you guys here at home. I remember back at LSU at the end of the game, I'd asked you about walking down. Even at the end of that game, you were like pumping up your offensive line, telling them to move on. What do you think the last 3 weeks says about this team and the maturity of you guys, and how you have responded and developed over these last 3 weeks?
I think you said it, mature. I think we're kind of a mature team now. I think the past 2 years we're considered like a young team, and a young team might come in here and drop a game at home, maybe still thinking about what happened at LSU or something like that. But like you were saying, I kind of told the guys, told the offensive line, that's over. This has got to light a fire under us, and I think it did. So these past 3 games, the home stretch has been really good. But we still have a lot to work on, man. We have a long way to go, and we're about to have 2 road games that are going to be hard as anybody in the country, I think.
Well, Caleb Ducking, there's some more games left to play today, but is now tied for the lead in touchdown catches in the Southeastern Conference. I know you enjoy getting out there dancing with him, but did you ever see this coming from him this year?
Yeah, I really expected it, honestly. He's been a guy that's been here 2 years and didn't really see the field as much, but he got reps. He's been getting reps and knows the system, knows where to be on this certain play. So even if he wasn't playing these past 2 years, I think it was very valuable for him to be getting those reps and learning the offense and things like that. So he's paid his dues, and I think he's doing really well for us this year.
Well, I asked Coach Leach the same question. You kind of touched on it there about the LSU loss, but in years past under Coach Leach, you guys would get a big win and then drop the next game and kind of lose momentum, but obviously that's been different this year. Even within a game, you guys are able to regain momentum. Mm-hmm. If you had to point to a couple of factors because of that, what would you say?
Probably that we've all been playing together for 3 years now. Like I was saying, there's so many familiar faces around here from when Coach Leach even got here, whether it be Q or Austin Williams or, myself or Dylan Johnson or Woody or Cam Young on defense, Buki, Towers. You could go on and on. We have a lot of guys that have played a lot of ball So, we kind of know the ins and outs and the do's and don'ts. And, I think that's one thing that a mature team will show. One week's over, you got to move on to the next. And, right now we're going to enjoy this one tonight, but when we wake up in the morning, it's Kentucky. And they're obviously very, very good, very, very talented. They have a really, really good quarterback, and, I think they do some really good things on defense.
You talk about the stretch of the last 3 games now featuring 2 consecutive dominant wins over conference teams. What kind of momentum does that give you going into Kentucky?
I think it gives us momentum, but, don't make any mistake about it. They're going to be ready to play next week. I'm not sure they play this week or anything like that, but I know they probably felt like they let one slip away last week down in Oxford. But I think they're going to be ready to play next week. It's a home game for them, so we gotta answer the call.
Your offense is kind of unique in the fact that you can rush basically as well as you can pass. How does it feel to be able to rely on both sides of an offense like that?
It feels good. Anytime, like I've said in the past, anytime that Woody or Dylan can get the ball in their hands, I think we're in good hands. We have a good football play. So, being able to have 2 backs that complement each other well and that can run, it just helps our offense go even more.
Did you know at any point before this game that you were close to the completion record for the SEC? And then on top of that, what's it like, mid-game being recognized or something like that?
Yeah, my dad told me last week after the game. I really didn't know until then, but I really wasn't thinking about it. And then in the game, I wasn't thinking about it at all until it came up on the big screen. But for it to come up on the big screen and for it to happen at home was pretty cool. It would have been cool to happen on the road or something, but for it to happen at home in Davis Wade, where I've been watching games since I was in 2nd grade, it's been pretty cool.
Go back here, David Edelstein from WJTV CBS in Jackson. I cover another Bulldogs team from Brandon you might be familiar with a little bit.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me just asking it a little more
6-0
general.
or 7-0?
I think they're 7 now.
Okay.
If I counted
I was just making sure.
They're all in the win column, for sure. So you've been following. But if you don't mind me just asking you a general question just about that, not necessarily related to this game. When you think back, if you do, to your high school days and the growth that you've had in college too, I'm wondering if there's anything specifically from high school football that still stands out to you that you still take with you when you're accomplishing things like you are here at Mississippi State.
Yeah, probably just the way I prepare. I played in Brandon I started since I was in 10th grade, through senior year. And just learning how to prepare, learning how to work hard. I didn't know how to work hard until I got in probably the 8th or 9th grade and really started working hard with the team and things like that. So yeah, I learned a lot from Brandon. It's a great place. My brother still plays there, and I'll be back there someday for sure.
Last one, Robbie.
Will, watching the defense, there's going to be some big plays with the aggressiveness that they play with, but it seems like they come back and trump that with a couple of big plays that they make themselves. What's the comfortability with you as a quarterback and on the offensive side of the ball seeing that they're able to kind of overcome some of those big plays?
Are you asking if I'm comfortable going against them? Because I'm not.
No, like on the sidelines watching them.
Yeah, no, it's me and Jameer were sitting there just kind of talking about it. Like, we might give up a run, or we might miss a tackle or something like that, but with Coach Arnett's scheme and the way those guys play together and play so hard and we're so aggressive, you've got to finish drives. You can't just get into the red zone and think, oh, we're about to run it in or something like that. You got to, if you got 75 yards to go, you better go 75, not 74 and a half. You know what I'm saying? So I think it says something for them and how they coach and the way those guys fly around and compete.